All right, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 161st and River. This is a mid-Christmas week episode, kind of a special edition. And we're going to talk about a little bit, we'll spend about 15-20 minutes on here today, discussing some aspects of the Yankee offseason heading into the Christmas holiday. I am recording this on the 23rd, so obviously, if you're seeing this past the 23rd, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that fun stuff. Hope Santa's good to the kids who might be watching. I hope Santa Claus isn't too stressed and overwhelmed these days for Santa Claus who might be watching, or his elves. And Yeah, and I hope everyone's holiday is happy. And obviously, we'll be on here a couple times. I'm trying to move the thing. A couple times before the new year begins. We'll be on here, but I want to do an episode because Yankee Hot Stove recorded for the last time in 2025 tonight. And there were some things on there that I wanted to talk a bit about. And I posted them. It was funny. We were going to the store, so I'm half Irish, half Italian. So for some background, for Christmas Eve, we do the full Italian Christmas Eve, and we were going to the store to get some stuff for that. And we're coming back at like 6 o'clock, and we're leaving the store, an Italian store up by me, Uncle Giuseppe's, and I'm like, before I do anything, get in the car, I'm putting on Hot Stove on my phone and listening to it in my ear during the car ride home. So this tweet I typed out actually while we were driving. And I wasn't driving. I'm gonna make that totally clear. I was not driving while typing this or listening to Hot Stove, but I was listening and paying attention for until they brought on like the second segment, and then there's really nothing ever after that. So it's really like Jack's update, which was a nothing burger. I mean, it's all information we knew already. Right? The Yankees aren't in on my. I had heard a reason why they aren't. I'm not at liberty to share why they aren't, but I was given a reason, and it kind of makes a little bit of sense why the Yankees might not loving my or love the decision of signing him, considering it could be a liability. So I agree with the Yankees on that. Bellinger, they pretty much said the Yankees aren't totally positive, but they also aren't doom and gloom. So I said it's pretty much 50-50. I mean, look, the Yankee hot stove, even if Brian Cashman's like, this guy's coming back, it's a matter of when, not if, which is what I believe and what I believed the entire offseason. Okay, that hasn't changed. Jack Curry, who's the voice of the Yankee front office, isn't gonna go on Yankee hot stove and say, well, the Yankees aren't signing Bellinger, so don't get your hopes up. Or it's a done deal, or they feel really, really confident. Because guess what happened? Last year, he went on there and said he feels really, really confident. Um, he sounds really, really confident about Soto. He's really confident about Yamamoto and some other guys along the past few years. It doesn't benefit the Yankees to have Jack Curry go on there and pretty much spew that the Yankees are confident that they're going to sign someone because they kind of aren't. Like, if that makes any sense, like they don't know until the deal's done, until they get the call from Scott Boras saying, "Yeah, we'll take your contract." The deal isn't done, and the Yankees know this. They've been down this road, and they've been through Scott Boras's game, so they're not playing Scott Boras's game with a my. Bellinger, I think in the end they'll retain. There are a couple reasons for this. One, I don't see the Mets as a legitimate threat. And I could be totally wrong, and I'll admit that. But from everything that's been reported, everything that's been speculated, everything I've heard that hasn't been reported has been I mean, it has been reported. So everything I've heard around and talking to people, the Mets are don't really want to go. And this goes for pitching and this goes for starters and position players. That's why you saw the Hedges report today, which I actually commented and said this has to be like John Heyman like trying to scare the Yankees into Boris negotiations. I mean into negotiations for Bellinger because if the Mets take Hedges, then the pressure's really on them. But that's besides the point. The Mets don't really want to go beyond 3 years with position players, and four is like a max. What makes us believe the Mets are all of a sudden going to go five or six or possibly with a seven option? I don't think the Yankees will go seven for Bellinger either. In fact, if the contract came out that the Yankees did go 7 years for Bellinger, I think I'd be really angry. I like Cody Bellinger. I love the player. I love the fit here in New York. I don't love Cody Bellinger for 7 years. I'm bullish on him for six. I think six is a lot, but I also understand that you have to get a deal done somewhere. I think six will get a deal done. I also think that if everything's equal, he's a New York Yankee. And I think we all know this. And I'm going to put this tweet up on the screen instead of just staring at my hot stove tweet right now. This tweet came out, and I want to reference it because it was such. Here it is. Because I agree with it. The Yankees are the best fit for Bellinger. They know it. The league knows it. And that's why he hasn't gotten Boris's ask. Jack Curry reported last week, and it's everything I've heard. No team has given the Godfather offer on Bellinger. The Yankees included in that. They are very steadfast in the negotiations for Bellinger because they don't want to get into a Jacoby Ellsbury-esque contract or an Aaron Hicks-esque contract. They don't want that. Or DJ LeMahieu. The Yankees have been reluctant now, for the exception of a Judge on the position player side, to give away a big contract. On the starting pitcher side, that's a different story. Starters, obviously they gave out the free contract. They gave out the Rodon contract. And they've given out and they'll give out some other contracts over time here, but I also don't see them going in big for a starter. They need a starting pitcher. And this is the second part of this post from Dave Rifkin, who's a big Yankee fan. One and knows some people and knows some things. So, this is logical and possibly intentionally placed. I'll put it that way. Once Bellinger is resolved, I expect the Yankees to move quickly on a starting pitching slash relief pitching. They can't move assets until they don't need them. I've been saying this all offseason. This isn't new information. It's just reiterated information. The Yankees could not move on or move Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, which obviously today we all saw, if you follow Yankee Source on X, the leaks coming out from them of scouts on Spencer Jones. And while all the information is accurate and correct, where yeah, we all think that he can be a legit major leaguer. I do too. You don't think that's coming out for no reason here? I'm not saying they're being used as a negotiation tactic, which I don't think at all, because they do cover the Yankee prospects, and at this point, he is one. I'll tell you this: if unless Bellinger walks, which I'd be surprised if he did. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be, but I kind of would be. I can confidently say of the two, Dominguez or Jones, Jones is probably not a Yankee on opening day. I could see him being a Red. And that quote actually coming out could mean two things. I'm gonna pull up this quote now because I think it's important to show up here. Because it came out this morning and now talking through it as I'm analyzing information here. Rival scout and Spencer Jones here. His offense is obviously gonna be up and down. He could play some D with good ability and reads. If the Yankees can't sign Bellinger, Jones could step into left field without much of a problem. I want to highlight this part because they're heightening it on if they don't sign Bellinger. Well, here's the other thing. Reports came out yesterday, and the more I kind of dug into it, I didn't write about it because as I said, I've been a little bit busy. And then yesterday, I wanted to record and do some stuff, and then the time I carved out to record was actually time carved up working on a story and information on the Jeff McNeil trade to the Athletics. And in the midst of me trying to piece all that stuff together, I was like, okay, it's time now, I guess. Like I had other family obligations. I'm like, I can't just spend my whole day up here. So I was working that instead of recording this, which works. I'm doing it tonight. And reports were coming out about Nick Lodolo as a potential fit. I'm gonna pull up his Savant page here. Nick Lodolo, after like digging into it, reading some stuff, he kind of interests me a little bit, I think, for the Yankees here. Um, because they're not looking for a one or a two. They're looking for a three or a four. I know he's a lefty, and I don't think that matters to the Yankees at all. He comes with 2 more years of control. He pitched 156 innings pitched, about a strikeout an inning, a whip just above one, which is great. A 3.33 ERA in that ballpark is fucking phenomenal. 29 games, 28 starts. Um, his K numbers are average. His walk numbers are really good, which means he doesn't walk a lot of people. Barrel percentage and hard hit are average. Ground ball is above average, which is slightly above, which is nice. And the Yankees really like ground ball average. Let me see here if I can find his stuff, and you can see his pitch slots there. This Lodolo's a great option. He's a great option. Now, there are a couple things with Lodolo that maybe people wouldn't love. Number one, he's coming from the NL Central, and he's going to be in a very tough American League East. With that, I'll say someone made the comp. His stuff is comparable. Not his ceiling is not. His stuff is comparable to that of Garrett Crochet before he was traded. I'm not saying Lodolo is Garrett Crochet, but he's definitely an option. The Cincinnati Reds are on the hunt right now for an outfielder, a left fielder, actually. They're going to have to get through trade. In that ballpark, especially a lefty, in that ballpark, he's going to strike out a lot. You can't tell me that the Cincinnati Reds, if they're offered Spencer Jones and like a Ben Hess for Lodolo, can't tell me they don't jump on that deal. I think they jump on it. I don't know if and Brian Cashman has a good relationship with that front office. I don't know if they have any relievers that would interest the Yankees, but I think Lodolo should and would. And I don't think this is a bad trade. I'd actually rather if you had to give me a top five list of guys to acquire this offseason, Lodolo would be number three. I want Peralta or no, Cabrera, Peralta, Lodolo, Alcantara, Gore. That's the top five. Scooble's unrealistic, which is why he's not in the top five. If the Yankees got a call tomorrow on Scooble and they don't do it, then they're morons, which I mean kind of checks. But I think that that's a realistic list of the names we've heard in trade rumors. They need relievers, right? I'm gonna pull up the bullpen depth chart. I pulled it up last episode. I don't think I recorded after they signed Paul Blackburn, which everybody was so pissed off and up in arms about, which I really did not understand. The Yankees liked what they saw in Blackburn. His ERA in 12 innings with the Yankees was 1.58. He pitched 15 total innings for the Yankees. His overall ERA was 5.28 with the Yankees. So you take away the 3 innings he pitched against the Red Sox on August 23rd, which is the game Will Warren started against Crochet, and the Yankees just got their heads kicked in. And Blackburn was left out on the mound to pretty much do cleanup. I excuse the singing in the background. Blackburn was left out on the mound to do cleanup and gave up 7 runs in three. That's where the ERA got ballooned. And he had a rough outing in the postseason, but who cares? He was doing mop up and they were getting their teeth kicked in as well. Paul Blackburn's a solid option now. I'm also not saying he's the savior of the bullpen. He's an insurance policy. And the insurance policy is if the Yankees can't get a starting pitcher, he's depth. If the Yankees can't get a starting pitcher, trade done. Because we could be sitting here in February and Bellinger's not done. And pitchers and catchers are reporting, and other teams might not want to deal at that point. And they're pretty much backed into having to have Yarborough in the rotation. Then Blackburn's your mop up guy. If they get a starter, Blackburn's going to start the season in the bullpen, and you might have one of the relievers with options start the year in AAA. Obviously, they view Cade Winquist as the next Luke Weaver. Cade Winquist could have a 13 ERA in spring training and not even make it. Paul Blackburn can suck in spring training and they can be like, goodbye. Kind of like Toronto did last year with Ryan Yarborough. They're like, we don't have a roster spot. Bye. So I don't know why everyone's freaking out. It's 2 million, all right? It's not that big of a deal. It's really not. And look, he could be the next Luke Weaver and we have no idea. Luke Weaver, like the good Luke Weaver. I also think that the bullpen starting from a spot where they have a foundational closer who knows how to do it in New York is a big thing. Everyone, and rightfully so, Camilo Duvall's a question mark. I think he's less of a question mark than Fernando or Bird or Winquist or Blackburn. And Hill can't be in high leverage. I mean, I have him on here in high leverage. He can only pitch against left-handers. If you pitch him against a righty, it's like it's horrible. He can only pitch against left-handers. So that handcuffs you there. And that's why the Yankee rotation, bullpen rotation is such like a conundrum. And they want to add a right-handed hitter to the bench. They want to add a right-hand hitter, and we'll see if they do it. We'll see if they get it done. It remains to be seen. But the team doesn't have that glaring weakness that everybody's complaining about. Everyone seems to be complaining that this team is so far off. Because if you get Bellinger back, you're striking up the band of one of the best offense in baseball last year, same offense. And you assume guys like Wells and Rice and not having Volpe in the lineup for the first month and a half. And, you know, and McMahon, you're gonna probably see some regression from Judge because he's starting to get up there in age, and I hope not. I really hope not, but you can't expect him to be out of the world forever, and the Yankees have to start learning to adapt, and that's something that scares me about this organization is that they don't know how to adapt without Aaron Judge. Um, but I think the Yankees are going to have one of the best offenses in baseball. I do. I firmly believe that. Let's look at their current lineup. If the season started today, this is what their lineup looks like. Now, Aaron Boone said, I guess, to the Talking Yanks guys, they didn't put it on air, but Yankees Avenue has talked about it a couple times in his live stream. So I got this from that. And credit to him. That Boone has said that Rice will lead off a lot of times against right-handers. And I actually don't hate it. I would love them to go out and get Bichette, who can lead off. Oh my God, he fits so well. And you could deal Jazz. I'd love them to get Bichette and Bellinger and then deal Jazz. That'd be so great. That'd be a winning move. They won't do that, but that'd be a winning move. And yes, the bench is the bench. Um, JC Escarra is not on the bench. I reported about a week ago, reached out to some people. No one really knew what the injury was, but he did sustain an injury. He did sustain an injury. Escarra was sent back to the U.S. from the Dominican Winter Ball League, and no one really knew what the injury was. So I guess we'll see. He posted videos of him working out. I think a Skechers ad today. So we'll see what happens with him. I had to guess he'd either start the season in AAA or is moved before opening day. I don't see him having a role on this team come opening day because how many left-hand hitting catchers are you gonna have? Right? The Yankees just don't have room. So that's gonna be our super simple episode as duty calls ahead of Christmas Eve. So I hope everybody has a very happy holiday, stays safe, enjoys everything, and I will connect back in probably Friday or Saturday. If there's no news Saturday, if there's news Friday. But there are things happening around the league, and it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if we had some news. It wouldn't shock me if Bellinger signed before Christmas, like Christmas Eve. I think that'd be cool. Um, a nice Christmas present for Yankee fans. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm also not reporting that's close because I think Boris is going to try and wait this out. Regardless of what Jack Curry said, you know my stance on that, that everything he says isn't gospel. Most of it is, but not everything. I do think that Bellinger's camp is waiting on Tucker to sign because they think that the suitors for Tucker will come crying to the to the Boris camp, except there aren't suitors for Tucker because even the Blue Jays recently have become bullish on signing Tucker. It's been a weird market over there. It's been a weird market for both, but the Yankees have a clear path to signing Bellinger. And if they want Tucker, they have a clear path to doing so. But that'll do it. Have a great day. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Go Yankees.